They have recruited the rich and the powerful, and they have blinded us to the truth.
I made many videos in the past exposing SpaceX as being nothing more than propaganda, just like NASA before SpaceX. They just continue on the tradition of the lie of going into so-called space. There is no deep space. All we have is inner space. And these deceivers want to make us believe there's these other worlds, other planets, these so-called aliens. I'm going to break it all down. Let's take a look. Dragon capsule with Falcon 9. I mean, of course, the dragon is all symbolic with the Bible verse going back to Revelation 12:9, where it states, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceives the whole world." Okay? That's what these deceivers do. Put their signs and symbols in plain sight. Again, we talk about it. They're all about signs, symbols, numbers, colors, and dates. That's how these occultists work by. Just like you see here, like I've shown many times, it comes down to Freemasonry, the 33rd, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Of course, the reason the biblical reference to the third or 1/3 or 33% of the fallen angels. And this is why you have the concept with the Falcon 9. They didn't devise this out of thin air. It's all about numbers into names. It all comes down to Falcon 9 is 33. Falcon by itself is not 33. They had to add the 9. That's why they devised that number 9. This is how they code things in plain sight with these Freemasons. Everything is in plain sight for those that understand the occult. Also, as well, understand the concept. It's all about the occult of ancient Egypt. And again, the Falcon, as you can see here, the ruling bloodline going back to Babylon to Egypt. As you can see, it might be difficult to see. Let me get a little bit of a close-up. You can see the obelisk all over, from Vatican to London to Washington, D.C. This is the bloodline that migrated again from Babylon to Egypt throughout the world. This is the bloodline that has ruled from the very start until today. And again, understand the concept of the Phoenix, dual Phoenix here with Freemasonry. Again, the connection with Satanism, I'm going to get into that. Again, with the Dragon payload, let's take a look here. Going back in time with Albert Pike. Okay, see the 33rd degree Freemason and the symbol for the Phoenix. Take a look here at Albert Pike. Just so happens to be 33 in numerology. These people that have 33 names, they are propped up as usual. Now let's take a look at the whole entire concept of the Phoenix. Very popular saying with Freemasonry, the Phoenix will rise again. Because, of course, the Phoenix, or Satan, was thrown to earth. That's what it's all about. Symbolically, with the dragon rising up. That's why you'll understand these concepts. Comes to the south will rise again. You have the north and south. It's as above, so below. With the south rising. Just like the concept of Dixie. Whole concept behind that as well. With Freemasonry being, Dixie being 33 as well. Okay. Now take a look here. When you see the city, it comes to, again, the Phoenix in Phoenix, Arizona on the 33rd parallel. Understand, Masons that own and control this world, these concepts, once again, are not pulled out of thin air. It's not by chance, not by coincidence, that they have the Phoenix, or Phoenix, Arizona on the 33rd parallel. Of course, you see the city seal. Of course, it's going to be a Phoenix. Take a look here at this news story. The Satanists know about the occult of the Phoenix. Satanists giving Phoenix City Council prayer. Okay? They know the whole idea of Phoenix being nothing more than Satan once again. Just like I showed here with Albert Pike, the Phoenix, Freemasonry, the Phoenix, and the Dragon capsule once again. Every little detail, there's no wasted motion, just like I showed with the ribbon. Okay, 33. There you go. Now, understanding Masonry, they talk not through words, but through signs and symbols, just like you see here with Elon Musk. Okay, they all play a role, so-called good guy versus bad guy in society, but they're all working together against us. Okay, there you go, these signs and symbols. Another example here with Adolf Hitler. Some people call him a hero. Give me a break. See the same exact signs and symbols. Nothing new under the sun. They're playing the same tricks over and over again. Now, getting on topic, let's take a look here at this NASA launch. One thing I want to make perfectly clear when it comes to the deception with NASA. I'm not saying NASA and SpaceX don't launch rockets, but they don't go into space. That's what it all comes down to. One thing I want to point out, though, with this real launch, this rocket just basically launches and goes into the ocean. Okay, when it comes down to it, this is why you have NASA and all their launch sites near oceans. So they just launch in and go to the water. That's all what it all comes down to. Now let's take a look here again when it comes to NASA in this real rocket launch. I'm not saying it's not a real rocket launch. And again, I'm not saying SpaceX doesn't launch rockets, but they do not go into space. And I'll prove that without a shadow of a doubt. First of all, let's take a look at this footage with this rocket launched by NASA. Okay, look at those thrusts. Look at the power underneath the thrust with these rockets. Now let's compare to SpaceX. Again, mixing fake and real. Let's look at the thrust here. Okay, let me go pause. One thing you'll notice, there's a lot of things that don't add up. Look at the shadow. See here compared to here. The angles do not add up. By the way, take a look at the horizon, completely flat. This is just more mockery in plain sight. One thing I want to point out, why do you see a flame shadow? This does not make sense. It's not possible. Let's play this video a bit more and I'll break it down. I'll explain it all. Look at this weak thrust underneath. It looks like watching the Batmobile. The thrust going to the side, no power whatsoever. That's weak. Can't see that. Candle in the wind. Nothing more than fakery. These plumes, this exhaust going to the side, it should be going straight down. It's not. It's like a candle. I said before, this looks like a PS1 game, Soviet Strike. It looks so fake and phony. Okay, this looks ridiculous. I'm going to get a little bit of a close-up here. Just taking a look at this footage. Again, I'm going to show the shadow. I'm going to put pause here. Again, these shadows do not add up. Okay, this shadow should go straight along with this supposed shadow from the Grasshopper test rocket. Now, again, I'm talking about, see here, the flame, the thrust underneath the rocket. Supposedly, what do you see here? This is not possible. Okay, people have to pay attention to details, and there's a reason behind this. It's all about the occult. You cannot cast a shadow with light. That's what it all comes down to. Okay, this is all biblical. This is the exact reason they had a shadow out of light. 1 John 1:5. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. That's why you don't see any darkness, and that's why they basically, with this CGI fakery, they implemented this shadow with a flame. It's all about the occult with these Satanists. Basically all symbolic. Okay, now let's move on here. Take a look at this footage for those that believe, again, that SpaceX actually goes into space. Let's take a look at this footage. For the sake of time, I sped up the video. Basically, you can look at this full video itself. It's about 5 minutes long. Yeah, I just sped it up just for the sake of this video. Take a look. If you really believe this Falcon 9 is going into space, you're completely deceived. People have, eyes they cannot see. They have a brain but do not think. Just take a look at this Falcon 9 as it does its arch. Okay? Coming straight down. Don't tell me it's going around the supposed ball Earth and wrapping around the supposed ball Earth as it goes into space. It's coming straight down. You're going to be blind as a bat if you cannot see this. Okay? It's right in front of your face. It's coming straight down in the ocean. Not going into space. That's it. There you go. Complete joke if you believe SpaceX actually goes into space. The Falcon 9. This is exactly why SpaceX is called SpaceX. Because they don't go into space. It's a big joke. Okay? So it all comes down to, like I showed earlier, with this graphic from NASA, showing all the launch sites. All these rockets, all they do is go straight in the water. That simple. Now, what is presented on TV is nothing more than a movie production. They'll show a real rocket being launched into the sky. Then it goes parallel before it comes back down into the ocean. It's just a production, mixing real with fake. I'm not saying this is fake. Okay? I'm not saying this is fake, but when you get down to it and you look at footage here, and it's right before supposedly the Falcon 9 goes into space, then they show this. Let's take a look here. Now here's where the fakery starts. Okay? This is how they mix fake with real. And this is definitely fake. Look how horrendous and atrocious this footage is. I mean, it's a complete joke. But people want to believe. You know, they want to believe in this fairy tale, this fantasy. Look at this complete garbage.
Stage 1 is under its flip.
Let's take a look at this footage coming up here. Now, this footage right here. Look at the angle. Look how far away it is from the supposed rocket itself. Okay, let's play it a little bit more. It just looks fake because it is fake. Okay, it's complete garbage. Now, taking a look here. Okay, it's the supposed Dragon capsule. And after supposedly the stage is released. Let's take a look here. This footage, this animation I should say. I mean, you saw the angle the footage was taken from. This clip here, again, I'm going to go back to it. This angle, I mean, it's completely ridiculous. What do they have? A selfie stick? I mean, how far out does the selfie stick extend out to get this vantage point? People don't look into details. This is why they're easily deceived. Just like I showed earlier, you saw the Falcon 9 crash into the ocean. Let me back up a little bit more. Give me a break. It's coming straight down. Okay? Without question. Coming straight down into the ocean. That's what you believe is real. You have no concept of reality. You just want to believe the lies. No evidence in the world is going to convince you if you can't see what I'm showing you here with SpaceX and Falcon 9 being nothing more than a stop. Now, I found this pretty interesting. I'm going to play some clips with William Shatner, of course. Star Trek, the original series that aired from 1966 to 1969. Nothing more than propaganda. It's nothing more than a puppet in the game. But I find it very interesting what he says here. Basically going against everything that science says.
You've inspired so many people to enter the sciences. How do you balance science with science fiction? They're both the same.
This is the guy that was hired to push the propaganda once again with the idea of space. Now he's going against, the whole idea of space. Just like he does at this convention from this past year, this past August in Las Vegas, Nevada. The same exact concept. Again, he's, it's kind of complex. He's part of the rigged reality. This is basically about duality. The man that was the most famous adventurer of outer space, basically stating science is nothing more than science fiction. Take a listen.
So I said, well, just give me one other dimension. I don't care about 16 or 17 or 26. What is the fifth dimension? Give me another dimension. And the answer is, we can't conceive of that.
Right.
So
that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Well, it doesn't mean it does exist.
All these fans are listening to this. They're giving, polite applause and whatnot, but it all boils down to most of these fans, they love the idea of space, SpaceX, and NASA. They're fans of William Shatner, so they're going to give him proper applause, but I'm sure they're dumbfounded, like, what's going on here?
So I mean, how, so I said to Dr. Taku, He said it's because he's working on string theory. You know about string theory?
Yeah, and I find that amusing too.
But we're not talking about the stuff you wrap a package about. It's vibration of some kind in a string. Okay? So I said, he said it's like music. I said, well, I understand an orchestra with vibrating instruments. I got that. What do you play? What's your instrument? What do you do when you get up in the morning, doctor? What do you do? And he says, it's all in my head. I think. I said, well, how do you prove what you're thinking exists? Because it's all theory. He said, well, I've got this very elegant numbers equation, yeah. Very E, B divided to 7 to 4.
Everything's on. Talking about Michio Kaku, the NWO scientist, the sellout. Again, going against everything what science states.
It's all in his head. How do you prove a black hole? How do you know those gravitational waves proved the collision of two black holes?
Somehow, eventually, they are able to observe phenomena.
No, they can't observe. It's too far away. It's too theoretical. How do we know what they're saying is true? You know what it really is? It's all science fiction.
There you go. He says it again. It's all science fiction. But understand, again, he's part of the rigged reality. Just take a look at the door behind him. You see all the occult. They don't come up with these concepts out of thin air. You see the number 3. You see the 3 slashes. This is coded for 33. In the orange door itself, orange is 33. So again, he's not really a hero. He's just playing the role. Again, just mocking his fans, his followers that love the idea of space and space travel. Here's another example. This is from NASA's official website, where basically, again, mocks the idea of space.
This is doing with science, that is, when you look at it, is the equal of science fiction. How are you going to make a parachute that's going to stop a vehicle and pop, it pops out and it's going to stop it? It's not a miracle. How much line do you need? What should the material be? How do you slow it down before the... And then you got to send a signal, and is it 7 or 9 minutes later, the signal... I mean, it's science fiction.
That's the third time he said science fiction when it comes to science. And NASA allows us, but of course, it's all about mockery.
Shadows that cross in front of a star that suggest there's a planet. And it's a big enough planet to be the size of the M1 of the Earth. Is it possible that life exists on that planet that's only a shadow in a telescope?
Only a shadow in a telescope. There you go.
Those are the imaginative things that NASA are looking at. That's every bit as passionately imaginative as science fiction.
Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Science and science fiction are one and the same. Here's an example for those that love the idea of the ball Earth. Take a look at this image, this supposed photo going back to 1972. Okay? Then the latest one, supposed latest one, was 2015. This is a 43-year difference. Okay? Latest image. You flip it over. What do you see? Right in plain sight. It says sex in the clouds. Just more mockery like I showed many times. So, understand what's taking place in this world full of lies and deceptions with duality when it comes to Freemasonry. Find it hilarious. William Shatner, better known as Captain Kirk, dismissing the idea of outer space. Complete joke.
Space, the final frontier.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. It's easy to deceive. I spend so much time believing all the lies.
Astronauts to the moon. Astronauts to the moon. Astronauts to the moon.
It's a pack of useless lies. Everything's a lie, and that's a fact. Life is a lemon, and I want my money back.
What just took place with SpaceX and the explosion with Falcon 9, basically nothing more than a controlled explosion. I basically predicted this a while ago. I'm going to play that clip from my previous channel, which I've uploaded to my most recent channel. Take a listen.
And I already know what's going to happen with this entire project. Just like Virgin Galactic with Richard Branson, you're going to see a future failure of some sort, and they're going to have to abort the whole program. This is nothing but basically a psyop to make us believe it's possible to get in space. Since NASA's space program, with the shuttle program is being over, they've got to continue the line, this time with these private companies.
While everybody's focusing on the explosion itself, people don't see what is right in front of them. Many people don't understand the occult, and it's all about signs and symbols. Signs and symbols rule this world, not words nor laws. Okay, take a look here. What's right in front of you? You see the diamond tower here. As I mentioned many times, diamond is 33, all about masonry. And what do you see here with these two towers in between the Falcon 9? Take a closer look. Basically, Crowley's unicursal hexagram right in plain sight. Again, this is how they do it. And here's Crowley, of course, former Mason, former Satanist. Just taking a look here, the Thelemic Order of the Golden Dawn. And there again is your unicursal hexagram, as shown here. Without a shadow of a doubt, again, as I stated many times, take a look here at Elon Musk, to the Masonic hand sign. Nothing but a Mason. Just more images of the unicursal hexagram. As you see here with the snake within it. This female with their fingernails, the tattoo and other satanic symbols. Even Yu-Gi-Oh! With this character named Alistair, as in, of course, Alistair Crowley. Now, again, getting back to this symbol, the unicursal hexagram. People don't understand what they're looking at here. Let's get another look here at the actual two towers. Basically, it's as above, so below. Right in your face here. This is how they do it. Two vector symbols intertwined to make this symbol. Okay, another thing I want to point out, again with Elon Musk. Watch my other videos for more details. I've already covered it so many times. The whole entire concept with this Mason, this deceiver, in the Falcon 9. Okay, there's the reason it came up with the name Falcon 9. They didn't just pull it out of thin air. Everything, again, there is a reason. Because Falcon 9 is 33 in numerology. All about the occult, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, it being 33. A third of the angels were thrown from heaven to earth. This is what it's all about. This is the bloodline and their minions. I'm not saying Elon Musk is in the bloodline, of course, but he's definitely a minion to those that own and control this world. Nothing but lies, nothing but deception in this world run by these satanic Masons.
Mr. Crowley, you fooled all the people with magic. Yeah, you're waiting on Satan's door, Mr. Charming. Did you think you were pure?
I always talk about having good discernment. Unfortunately, many people don't. They just want to believe. They want to believe in this fairy tale that NASA is in outer space. I'm going to break down this footage supposedly with this astronaut, Andres Kuipers, supposedly aboard the ISS. Again, it's all about having good discernment. Let's take a look at this footage. I'm going to break it all down. You're going to see where nothing makes sense.
Onze prachtige planeet. Wij zien hem dus boven ons als we op deze manier naar buiten kijken.
Turn off the volume here. Just first off, Take a look. No stars as usual. Where are all the thousands upon thousands of satellites? You don't see any. Earth is not moving. Clouds are not moving. But for some reason, people believe this is real. Just because... Take a look here. What do you see here? I'm going to pause it here for a second. What do you see here? You see water on the window. Let's take a listen to this clip with astronaut Tim Peake. And first off, take a look at the female reporter. I mean, she has a big smile her entire time while talking to this man. Of course, you know, she knows this is nothing but a hoax. They are not in space. They've never been in space. NASA's never been in space, period. It's 100% propaganda, 100% fakery. Take a look.
The time I was at the Cooper, I could see a couple of lights passing by the space station that looked like either satellites or fast-moving objects, which was really quite strange. Never seen that before. So I called one of my other crewmen.
Why is she constantly smiling? It's a big joke, huh? I mean, if you're a reporter, this is serious business. She has this grin on her face that will not go away. She knows this, again, it's playing the masses for fools. But again, getting back on topic with what he says here about the water.
Mates over and we had a look at it and we were wondering what it was. Then we realized it wasn't actually far away from the space station. It was quite close to the space station, and it was in fact small droplets of liquid that were leaking out of the Progress module. And they were passing, the sunlight was reflecting on these droplets of water. So, of
course, they're not in outer space. It's nothing more than fakery. People don't want to believe it because, again, people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want to have their illusions destroyed. What the heck is water doing out in outer space anyways? These vehicles supposedly flying at approximately 17,000 miles an hour just so happens to hit the ISS and make a water droplet. Give me a break. Now, talking about fakery, let's take a look at this footage here. Going back in time with the supposed Gemini mission from 1965 with Ed White. Now take a look at the supposed blue marble in the back and compare it to the more recent footage with ISS and this footage again with the static ball Earth. You can see a problem here, a major problem where things don't add up, and the NASA fanboys are just going to write this off, and they're going to turn a blind eye to this and not use their critical thinking skills and say, what's going on here? I want to believe in NASA, but wait a second, this doesn't add up. They won't dare to do that because, again, they don't want their illusions destroyed. Let's take a look. Okay, completely static. What's the deal here with supposedly the ball Earth, rotating? Okay, these clouds are not moving, but you see the ball Earth spinning in here, completely static. And this is like a B-rate movie taking place, complete joke with Ed White during the supposed spacewalk. I mean, complete garbage. I mean, at least they try to make it look real, consistent. What's going on with the ISS? Okay, you want to explain that? I don't think so. You're not going to be able to explain this away. Keep on looking. Just wait for your supposed blue marble to start spinning, and it's not. And why is that? Okay? Don't tell me because it's at a certain angle, and this is a straight away footage, so it's not going to spin at this angle. Don't try to rationalize the lies that are being fed. Clearly 100% exposed. NASA's nothing more than a lie, nothing more than propaganda. That's all it is. Now, again, as far as taking a look once again at this footage, and you don't see a single satellite. There's supposedly thousands and thousands of satellites in space. Where are they? And obviously, for those that are awake, they'll understand there are no satellites up in space. Everything works off ground towers and under ocean fiber optic cables. Take a listen to this presentation.
On the internet's in the cloud, but really, it's in the ocean. About 300 undersea fiber optic cables are responsible for 99% of international data traffic. It's basically the same way we connect to each other in a single country, except underwater instead of underground. They transmit PewDiePie from Europe to America, and they connect stock traders in New York and London. And these cables, placed by private companies, are the backbone of the internet. But if you held one in your hand, it'd be no bigger than a soda can. There are just a few layers of protection from the water, including petroleum jelly, Yes, your internet is covered in Vaseline. They're vulnerable to earthquakes. At least a few times, confused sharks have bitten them. But many cables are beneath sea life, because in some places they go as deep underwater as Mount Everest is high. Ships lower a plow that digs a tiny groove in the ocean floor, lay in the cable, and it's naturally buried by sand, thanks to the ocean's current. And that process, it's both stunningly simple and mind-blowingly complex, is responsible for making the internet a truly global network. It's an idea that's audacious and crazy, and you think it has to be cutting edge, and it is, but it's also been going on for 157 years. Electric telegraphs have been around for a long, long time. Experiments in the early 1800s connected two ends of a garden using a clock that revealed letters. Then they moved on to two neighborhoods to help signal trains, and then multiple cities thanks to a network of railroad lines. Underwater submarine cables were an obvious next step, so they played around. Instead of petroleum jelly, the first ones were coated with exotic tree sap to protect them from the water. And though the undersea cables came in spurts, one of the first ones was knocked out of commission by a fishing boat. By 1858, they reached around the Atlantic and across the world. And that's how it's kind of gone since, laying cables that circle the Earth's oceans. The cables are unwound from the back of a ship, sink to the ocean floor, and the world is connected in speeds measured in milliseconds. There are ideas to bring the internet above sea level, along with cell phone towers to Africa, balloons lifted by Google. But for speedy international travel, undersea cables are still where companies like Facebook and Google place their bets. That's because the best way to create the cloud is still by going under the sea.
Now, you see what's taking place here. Now, let's take a look at this article before I show this footage. Taking a look at physics.org. Talk about the internet, the Wi-Fi world, how it still depends on undersea cables. Found this very interesting what is stated here. Let's take a look as I scroll down, where it talks about the internet traffic running through the ocean, where it states the reality is that the cloud is actually under the ocean. Even though they might seem behind the times, fiber optic cables are actually state-of-the-art global communications technologies. Since they use light to encode information and remain unfettered by weather, cables carry data faster and cheaper than satellites. So what's the purpose of satellites if this is the case? Like I showed, there's no actual images of any satellites because, again, they do not exist. Anybody that wants to prove satellites, show me an image of a real satellite in space. I'm not talking about a dot you see in the sky. Show me actual images of a satellite in space. They don't exist, as I've shown already, and as well many times in previous videos. Now, continue on. They crisscross the continents too. A message from New York to California also travels by fiber optic cable. The systems are not going to be replaced by aerial communications anytime soon. And this article dates back to 2015. So, again, this is the reality of how things work through fiber optic under ocean cables. And again, as I stated before, with GPS and cell phones with ground-based towers. That's what it's all about. No satellites in space. Hate for all you people that believe in so-called, ISS, satellites, space shuttles in the past that are nothing more than airplanes. It's all propaganda 100%. And again, showing just more fakery by NASA with supposedly the moon passing by Earth, 5-hour time-lapse footage. Take a look again at the fakery. People, again, they don't have good discernment. This is why they're easily deceived. You're going to notice no clouds are moving during the supposed 5-hour time-lapse footage. Take a look. See a problem here? Not a single cloud is moving in the supposed 5-hour time-lapse footage. What's the deal with that? Again, the NASA fanboys, they're going to rage. They're going to get angry. Just like this guy here. Take a look.
It's really mister, you don't understand. Science is your education, you freaking retard, my stupid videos. What you talking about sloppy? I'm done sloppy. Videos, you stupid retard videos that you make. Because everybody knows that you can't show this again. You stop showing these things. Why? like that. Ah, dick, 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 dick.